let's look at the commodities exchange and the AfCFTA and Mr. Balogun, the Chief Executive Officer of the AFEX Commodities Exchange now will be joining us, of course. So, Mr. Balogun, what are the most pressing infrastructure barriers needed to be worked on that will present the biggest wins for Nigeria's commodities market in light of the AfCFTA? Well, I guess they're having some kind of technical...
turn on the mic or something.
Yeah, audio. Now, maybe we'll take a quick break and then so we can correct that audio problem and then get back to him. All right, let's now talk to Mr. Balogun. I guess everything has been resolved. And welcome to the program, Mr. Balogun. So I did ask, what are the most pressing infrastructure barriers needed to be worked on that will present the biggest wins for Nigeria's commodities market in light of the AfCFTA?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. So again, when we think about our infrastructural challenges for AfCFTA implementation, we need to think both hard and soft infrastructure. On the hard infrastructure side, it's essential that we fix our ports system. Our ports is one of the most inefficient on the continent, probably on the world. Togo port now has the largest ports in the coast of the West African trade corridor. So we definitely need to fix our port systems across the country. We need to think of roads that connect the different countries and the different trade corridors, the Trans-Saharan trade corridor, and the rail systems that will be able to help us move our commodities efficiently. On the soft infrastructure side, we need to harmonize our trade terms, taxes, and then the codes of what constitutes country of origin. This is some infrastructure that we also need to have a consistent policy infrastructure across the continent.
Okay, considering that most commodity value chains in Nigeria remain fragmented and informal, what can be done to bring the informal trade into the formal sector so that producers can actually benefit from the AfCFTA?
So again, when we think AfCFTA, I'm of the opinion that most of the trade we'll see will be on the finished product side. So we'll see a lot of in the fast-moving consumer goods sector. The poultry, livestock sector would also see a lot of goods. So it will be on differentiated products rather than base commodities, because essentially each of the countries wouldn't have a lot of comparative advantage from each other, except for probably trade surpluses and deficits, which will be marginal and also low value for the stress of moving them for the distances between the countries. On the other side, what we should also start to think of in the implementation of AfCFTA is how can Africa trade as a bloc? How can we, West African countries or East African countries or the SADC blocks trade with the rest of the world as a bloc? And then you have competitiveness. How can Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon, who account for about 75% of cocoa production, trade with one bloc and one consistent pricing regime with the rest of the world? So these are things that we need to think through.
So what role do you think the commodities exchange will play in achieving some of the things that you've talked about and, of course, ensuring the overall effectiveness of AfCFTA for Nigeria's commodities market?
The exchange tries to achieve three things, which the three of them are applicable in the implementation of AfCFTA. So the first is price transparency. How do you create a mechanism where if you have multiple players, multiple buyers, multiple sellers trading on the same product, how do you ensure that prices are determined fairly and transparently? Second is how do you treat settlement? So you will have multiple currency transactions originating from different countries, and then this needs to be settled efficiently. So a commodities exchange is one of the best mechanisms that can give you that sort of technology-enabled settlement process. The third part of what it does is standardization of the baseline commodities. So essentially, it then makes us able to trade maize as one contract across 5 different countries. And today, that doesn't exist. You have maize from Nigeria very different from the standards in Ghana and the standards in Togo and other countries. So being able to price the baseline commodities part of what the commodities exchange will do, and this is important to achieving the AfCFTA's goals.
Okay. How well prepared are we with regards to like other African countries that already have a competitive edge? If not, what do we need to do to put in place to ensure that we fully benefit from the agreement?
That's where Nigeria has a strong competitive edge. So first, we have a very deep financial market system that can support growth, and we have a large pension asset class, pension fund asset class, and other investment pools that can finance growth and form a base of patient capital for growth. The second that we also work is we have mature industries, consumer goods, cement sector, some if you understand the service sector, talent pool that we have as a baseline from sort of competitive edge and endowment that we have above other African countries. The two parts that I think that we probably are lacking behind, one is our port infrastructure, which doesn't support the size and volume of trade potentials that we have as a country. Second is the policy. I think we are yet as a country to domesticate AfCFTA to us and accept it as the future of trade for us as a country. And until we do that, other countries have started having implementation committees and started hosting the implementation, the Pan-African implementation team, and having that dialogue in terms of how to get ready and how to enhance their trade policies to support AfCFTA. The faster we start to do this, the better we will be prepared.
Now, we have seen the trend, the inflation rate in Nigeria is going. How do you think commodities exchanges or perhaps support for commodities exchanges can actually help to taper the inflation trajectory as it is?
So two ways. So for us as AFEX, what we've been able to do is to ensure that we raised at the beginning of the onset of the quarter an asset-backed commercial paper that financed a number of our clients, our members, to be ready to aggregate the commodities at the beginning of season. So this allowed them to gain edge on physical products against prices. So most of the clients that work with us, the members of our exchange, already have products that came in at the base price November, December, before we started seeing the huge. This allowed them to be able to then plan and be more competitive in production for the year. The second part of what we then need to do as a country, but AFEX is steering and pushing this with the support of the Securities and Exchange Commission, is to develop a derivatives market. What a derivatives market allows you to do is to be able to hedge against your risk, and you can lock up prices in the months in the futures. So essentially a poultry feed or a food manufacturer or a cereal maker will be able to lock up maize or sorghum for June 2021, for December 2021. So regardless of what the physical prices then is, he's still sure of being able to continue production at a planned price. What this does is it reduces the volatility in prices over time, and then the incentive for speculation and hoarding then diminishes.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Ayodeji Balogun, the CEO of AFEX Commodities Exchange. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.